We are familiar with the concept of composite functions. A function inside of a function. For example, hx equals f of g of x. Gx is a function which is inside another function fx. To find the derivative of a composite functions, we use chain rule, and the derivative of h prime x would be the derivative of f prime, which is a function of gx, so f prime of gx, times the derivative of g, which is g prime x. It looks a bit complicated, but once we start with the examples, it will become a bit more clear. We know some of the basic rules of derivative, like x to the power n, the derivative is n times x to the power n minus 1. The derivative of sine x is cos x. The derivative of cos x is minus sine x, and so on. When you are in this situation, finding the derivative of sine x, this is from the table of derivative. It has a very straightforward answer. This is where you stop. But if you see a function that's even a tiny bit complicated than the parent functions, you will have to use the chain rule. In this case, this sine x was in the table of the rules of derivative, so the answer was very straightforward. In this case, sine x to the power 3, this function is not in the table of derivative, so you have to use the chain rule. As a general rule, if you see a function that's not in the table of derivative, you will have to use chain rule. So first, let's try to define the functions. This is a composite function, f of g of x. It's something to the power 3. So the parent function is x, any variable to the power 3. This is the parent function. So f is x to the power 3. And it's the function that's on the inside is sine of x. So g of x is sine of x. And now, when we use the formula, the derivative of sine x to the power 3 would be f prime. F is x3, and the derivative of x3 is 3x squared. So 3 times x squared, but f prime is with g of x in the bracket. So instead of x, I have sine x. If it was x3, your derivative would be 3x2, but there is sine x inside the bracket, your derivative would be 3 of sine of x to the power 2 times the derivative of g. G is sine x, and the derivative of sine x is cos x. When you simplify, it becomes 3 sine square x times cos x, and this is the derivative of sine x to the power 3. This is how we use chain rule. Break it down into the functions f and g, find the derivative of f, and calculate that with g inside the bracket, and then multiply it by the derivative of g. If you understand this, can you find the derivative of this function? And let me know your answer in the comments below.